Nice. That was good.
I hope that you enjoyed that little teal montage. That was 30 kills in 30 seconds. And we do a bunch of teal hunting here in Kansas. And so today I'm going to bring you 3 tips that are maybe a little less commonly known. Maybe you know these, maybe you don't, but it's always fun to talk about a little bit of teal. So we're going to get into those 3 things about teal in just a moment. So guys, you still have a chance to get in on the Freelance Duck Hunting North American Waterfowler Hunt Giveaway this Thursday, August 31st at 7 o'clock p.m. I'm going to be doing a live stream here on this channel, and I'm going to be giving away a hunt to one of you. If your name is drawn, I will call you, we'll talk on the phone, and we will pick a date in the 2023-24 calendar hunting year where you come on out here to me and we are going to hunt a Saturday and a Sunday. It's going to be a ton of fun. If you want to get involved in that, all of the rules and the description are down below. And the best way you can get entered is to go to patreon.com/freelance duck hunting, where you can sign up to multiple tiers. Whichever tier you sign up to is how many entries that you are going to get in this hunt giveaway. I'm going to put everyone's name on a wheel for the number of entries they have. So if you have 25 entries, your name will be on there 25 times. If you have 100 entries, your name will be on there 100 times. And I'm going to spin the wheel. And if it lands on your name, you are this year's hunt giveaway winner. So this is going to be a great time. This is year number 3. The 2 other years, it has been the highlight of both of those seasons. So don't hesitate to get signed up. Patreon.com/freelance duck hunting for the hunt giveaway this Thursday, August 31st, 7 p.m. on the Freelance Duck Hunting YouTube live stream. So let's get into the 3 less commonly known teal tips. We have been going at the teal hard since the early 90s, and it's honestly one of my favorite times of the year. We typically get in 4 weekends of purely teal. I hop into Nebraska for 1 weekend and 3 in Kansas, and so we get at them hard. We've been doing it a long time, and it is a spectacular sport in and of itself. Blue wing teal hunting. We do shoot a few green wings as well, but it's the vast majority of what we shoot in September are blue wing teal, as we've already started to see a few of them migrate down. So let's start off with the first tip I want to bring to you today. So if you've done much teal hunting, you probably already know the type of vegetation that they like. They love smartweed, they love barnyard grass. But when you're scouting, one thing that I don't think people realize is during the heat of the day, teal can get in that vegetation and hide better than any duck that I have ever seen. So when you're scouting them, you typically go and watch them at the very beginning of the day and the very end of the day. But one mistake that I think people make is they go out and they look for teal kind of in between that 2 o'clock and that evening time, and they don't see any birds at all, and they assume that there are just no blue wings around. But blue wing can hide in that vegetation really, really well. I have had multiple times scouting where I was walking the edge of a pool. I was looking in the open holes, and I'm like, there's just no teal here. So I got boots in the water, and I started walking through the marsh, and I would get within 20, 30, 40, 50 yards of teal, not think that they were anywhere around, not know that they're, and they just blow up, and they're all of a sudden everywhere. Those little teal, for some reason, they can hide in that vegetation, and you never know that they're there. So if you go out on a teal scout and you check a place, and let's say maybe you saw some in the morning one day and you go back a couple days later and it's kind of midday and you're just not seeing any. You're like, man, there's just no teal around anymore. Just know that if you're not getting yourself out in the water and walking around in it, you may not find them. Or you can just assume, if I saw them a few days before in the morning, but I don't see them now in midday, they're probably still going to be there in the morning when you're going out to hunt. Out of all the ducks that I've hunted, I have had more days with teal where I don't expect a good hunt, because I've gone and looked at a pool and I didn't see any. And then that morning, there's way more than I ever thought. They are masters at hiding in that smartweed. So don't always assume that there's no teal there just because you're not hearing them and seeing them fly, because they are masters at hiding. Let's go on to tip number 2. It's a commonly known fact that teal love to fly the first half hour to hour of the day. And I've actually heard people talk about, man, those teal hunts, they're done fast. You get lots of action in the morning and then it just cuts off. And that is for a general rule, is absolutely true. You get a lot of movement early, especially on the hotter days, and that teal movement can slow down. But don't think for a second that if you don't hang around till 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, you can still be very, very successful at some of those later time frames. Yes, the teal a lot of times will quit flying or drastically drastically reduce their amount of flying after the first hour or so, but that doesn't mean the flight is over. We have had multiple days where we have shot teal in September between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. So if you can handle it and you need a few more birds and you want to stick it out, you're probably still going to see some teal during that time frame. I know someone that a lot of times, if he knows that the opener is going to be really, really crowded, but he knows there's a bunch of teal around, he actually will slip into the marsh about 11 o'clock, and he has had a lot of success shooting limits between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Now, is that the ideal time to go? Obviously not. Your ideal time is the very beginning of the day. But don't get sucked into the idea that teal hunts are just over because you go 30 minutes without seeing them. Just like big ducks, sometimes you have to go a couple hours before you start seeing groups as well. That also happens for blue-winged teal. Now, does that happen every time? No, it doesn't. But don't just give up because you haven't seen a teal for 30 to 45 minutes. That's not always the case. Now, let's go on to the last and final tip. The lesser known tip that you might not realize is that when I first started teal hunting, I focused way too heavily on moist soil vegetation. I thought if there was smartweed there was always going to be teal there. And I remember several times in which I found a bunch of smartweed and I just went and hunted it because I knew it was good habitat, but it was waist deep. And I never had as good a success at teal in deeper smartweed water, even from like knee, high calf, knee to waist, as you're going to in the much, much shallower areas. Teal really love to walk around when they're eating. So if you can find, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches, that is ideal. They can be a little bit harder to hunt, harder to conceal on, but I think a lot of times mud flats on lakes are a spot where people don't look as commonly. They just always want to look to that moist soil vegetation, but the mud flats are a hidden gem. If you can find them, I will show you some clips here we hunted where we're just hunting mud flats, and that's it. We've had several hunts like that. So don't forget to look for those mud flats when it comes to your teal hunting. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video today. I've done other videos in the past where I've gone through all of teal hunting, but I wanted to think of 3 things that maybe I hadn't included in those videos and maybe you hadn't heard of before. Maybe you've hunted teal a lot and you knew these tips, but if you didn't, I hope that you find them helpful to you in your teal hunting this year. And do not forget, August 31st, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, Freelance Duck Hunting channel is the hunt giveaway where you can come and hunt with me this year, and we can get after those birds on a couple of days. So thank you for joining me again. Until next time, this is Elliott, and you've been watching another video from Freelance Duck.
I held the feeling all along that there was something pure and strong.